Good morning on April 3rd. It's the 4th and 11 show with your boy James Steiner here today. As always, y'all can hit me up on Twitter at Jacob Steiner. And if you have any questions about the NBA, NFL, MLB, any type of question about sports, I will be glad to answer it. Just hit me up at Jacob Steiner on Twitter. Or if you have any questions about the show, always hit me up there. Birthdays today. First birthday is Earl Lloyd, first African American basketball player in the NBA, born on April 3rd. Sorry, it's not March anymore. What am I thinking? April 3rd, 1928. A while ago, but hey, props up to the man. He was the first guy that let the wave of African American players just come into the NBA. So props up to him. Happy birthday. And another birthday announcement. The Silver Slugger Award, 2-time award winner, 3-time All-Star, Jay Bruce, the Seattle Mariners right fielder. And if, no one really knows who he is, maybe you can, probably put a picture on him if I say he played for Cincinnati Reds. All the way up from like 2008 to 2013, 14, or something like that. Happy birthday to Jay Bruce. He's getting old, but still an effective player out there in the outfield, and we'll see where he goes in the Seattle Mariners as well. The stat of the night is Blake Snell. I wanted to get a picture today. And, he pitched pretty well against the Colorado Rockies. 7 innings, 2 hits, 1 walk, and 13 strikeouts for the guy. And the Tampa Bay Rays have been just killing it as of late. They killed my Astros, and now they're killing the Rockies. And they're all it's just been really good for them. And, man, don't want to face them Rays in the AL East. Don't want to do it. And, they could possibly knock off the Yankees or the Red Sox, who have been just completely demolished of late. They put up 0 runs last night against the Athletics. It was just a terrible showing, but the Athletics, they're a pretty good team. Boston has only got 1 win this season, so someone help Boston. Someone get them on the CPR. They're having a World Series hangover. They're not having fun. I mean, this is mostly the same team as last year, except for a little bit of a change in the bullpen. And yet they're giving out money and distracting all their players. They're giving out money to Xander Bogaerts, and they ain't winning ball games. So it's time not to give the ball or the money out to, well, maybe to their offense, because their offense was not up and running last night. But I would put your money more towards getting into pitching if I'm the Boston Red Sox. But hey, I'm not a GM. I'm a sports broadcaster, and Blake Snell wins the stat of the night. 7 innings, 2 hits, 1 walk, and 13 strikeouts. Anyone who really puts up double-digit strikeouts, at least not going 9 innings, at least going maybe 6 or 7 innings like a usual starter. I mean, anyone that puts up double-digit strikeouts in that amount of time is just record-breaking, because, that's not, it's 3 strikes or 3 outs, and, you're moving on. You can only get 3 strikeouts per inning, and it's like he struck out every single guy, almost. But, the stat of the night goes to Blake Snell. So, I want to start something new here on the Wednesday show. Middle of the week, and I want to go into the middle of the dilemma. Middle of the week dilemma. I still have not come up with a freaking name for this damn segment, but, it'll go for just the dilemma of the week or something like that. But it goes to Bryce Harper this week. It's not really that big of a dilemma. I just couldn't find anything else to just really put in there right now. Not very many trades, not very many anything. And the dilemma goes to Bryce Harper for quite a few reasons. He put out that post to say thank you. I'm not going to read it all because that was just long and boring, and it would take a minute for me to just kind of read it. And, I would probably stop in the middle of it and analyze it and just it would just be a boring little effort that I just don't want to put forward right now. I mean, it's just too much, too much, too much, too much. But Bryce Harper, and I mean, if you want to go read it, go read it. It's on his Instagram. He says thank you to all of DC, and which he got booed last night, but he did put up a 458-yard home run to count off a 3-hit night with 3 RBIs. He had a 2-run home run, and give it up to the guy. He's putting up some monster numbers, and should the Nationals boot him or should they have cheered him? I mean, he didn't win a World Series. It's not like, hey, you can just like cheer on a guy because like he moved to a different team and he also won y'all a World Series, so he doesn't owe y'all anything. But things just didn't work out in Washington. So Bryce Harper moved on, and hey, when you move on, you saw LeBron James do it. You saw there's not very many big moves in baseball when it comes off season. Most guys or really the good guys are more loyal. But I mean, you hear boos all the time. You hear players just get completely trashed because they moved. I mean, just listen to the NBA almost every single night because that happens. I mean, a lot more in the NBA than a lot of teams. But I did hear a few boos tonight. When the Astros played on the Rangers, I mean, there was a lot of timeouts, just a little hand up to the ump and like timeout ump. Gotta, buckle up my batting gloves once again and, get the other one, make sure it's all tight, maybe take it off one by one, eat a souffle, pick out flowers for my girlfriend. I gotta do stuff. So time. I need time. You don't got any time. It's a 4-hour broadcast for baseball. I could be doing something else in my life, like watching a 3-hour movie for the Avengers, if I wanted to. If I wanted to waste 3 hours, I'll go watch the Avengers, but I'm not wasting 3 or 4 hours watching a dang baseball game. Even though I love it, I'm not saying that I don't like it. That's not what I'm saying, so don't get my words wrapped around, because look, baseball is a fun sport, but it gets way too long because, my goodness, those batting gloves need to be strapped, or the pitcher, gets in a funk, time up, or just something. I mean, that inning lasted forever. They also had a review. I mean, it just was like, oh my goodness, what the heck is going on? Why can't we just play ball? I mean, just push a kid out there with a microphone, play ball, they would get cheered because this game's going on for longer and longer just because some dude just says time up. I need some time. I don't know if I want magnolias or some tulips for my girl. So, I'm going to take that time to think it over and unstrap my batting glove and put it back on and, flip my bat once in a while. It's really annoying. It's really, really annoying, but I've got way sidetracked from the Wednesday dilemma. But hey, Bryce Harper, you get booed for getting booed. And he should have never left. I mean, he needed a better situation than he was in Nashville. But as we move into the next conversation, the Phillies 4-0 to start out the season. They obviously faced a pretty good Braves team. The Nationals are struggling as of start right now. They need to find their mojo. They need to find who their identity is, and then they can probably get back out there. But the Phillies taking down the Nationals 8-2 last night. So Phillies 4-0. Are they becoming the World Series favorite in the NL? And they're 4-0. Let's not get on the Philly hype train already. Let's not throw on the memes when you see the Phillies go 4-0 and there's like a whole bunch of guys on a train headed to Philadelphia. Like, hey, yeah, 4-0. I mean, this is a 162 game season, and a lot of people in baseball have been saying this. It's not an easy one. It's not a quick one. It's a long road. You have to stay healthy for 162 games, and the Phillies, I mean, they're good, but what if Bryce gets injured? Or what if, Nola, who's on tonight, gets injured? What if Arrieta gets injured? What if there's like a whole bunch of pieces in 162 games? I mean, you're not going to be able to predict all of them, and it's just going to be take a breather. You're 4-0 right now. Enjoy it because, it could last, it could not, and we don't know the future. But do they look good so far? Yeah, if baseball ended today, the Phillies probably would make the World Series with no problem, but that's just today because they're healthy right now and they're on fire. But come a few months, we might see them be 4-12. They could lose 12 straight. Please don't hold me out on that if it does happen, because I just said it out of the blue. And I did not mean to hurt the Phillies in any sort of way. But are they becoming the World Series favorite in the NL? I don't think so. And push that to the side. As we talk into the Western Conference race in the NBA, it's getting juicy every single night, even with the Warriors beating the Nuggets at home. We all kind of saw that, but hey, the Nuggets have put themselves in a hole because the next few games, they play all playoff teams. They got the Spurs, and then the Trailblazers twice, and then they got the Jazz, and then they got also the Timberwolves in there. That's not a playoff team, but, they're still young and pretty good, and they can pull off some upsets, so they could lose all games, and the Rockets will be in that first spot, or in that second spot, or the Portland Trailblazers. But, it all comes down to what the Nuggets can do. They lost to the Warriors. That was a game that they needed to win, mostly because you got two playoff teams that are very hungry. The Spurs, they're hungry, but not in the way that you would think the Portland Trailblazers are, because the Portland Trailblazers are third, or tied for third in the West. They want to go up to second. They want to be the second best team in the playoffs, and they, might get there. Because the Nuggets just, you've seen teams do this before. They take that big jump like a rocket, and the rocket fails and it falls slowly down. They've been drifting off the sea, at least in the last few games. But, these are hard games. They might not be drifting. They might be that 4 or 5 seed that played a hard, tough last part of the schedule. And they come out and dominate, and they make it into the Western Conference Finals, and then they, it's all speculation right now. So look, I'm not calling anything. I'm not knowing the future. It could happen. It's a speculation. It's an evaluation of what could happen. There's no cause and effect right now. Maybe there is. But I'm not talking about the playoffs right now. I'm talking about the seedings for the playoffs and who's winning the next few games, because the playoffs are in a few more weeks. It's not now. The Nuggets need to be worried, but they're a good team. And good teams know how to win on good nights. And they need that win. They need that win against at least the Trailblazers twice. Because, I would love it to beat the Trailblazers twice, because then the Rockets would have that, clear advantage in games ahead of the Portland Trailblazers, and wouldn't have to, have my heart beating so fast when the Rockets go down by so much in the first half and then eventually come back later on. It scares me. I want to have that closure. But Portland is a good team, and they played very well without Yusuf Nurkic who went out with that injury a little while ago. But hey, it's It's all good in Portland. It's all good in Portland. It's all good in Houston. It's all good in Denver. They've clinched the playoffs. It's just all down to how far the other team drops. You can be a 1 seed and you can be an 8 seed. It was that the way the few years ago when the 1 seed, they lose one game and hey, they a 6 seed. That was the race that was pretty good. But the 1 seed loses 2 or 3 games, and hey, they could be probably the Warriors could be probably a 3 or 4 seed. It's possible, but the Warriors don't really have that harder schedule than the Nuggets, obviously. But it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. On the Eastern Conference side, a lot of teams are still in the playoff hunt as of yet, so not too much to go up with on the Eastern Conference, really, because a lot of the teams from 6 down just really are just terrible, and they're just not a team that you would be like, yes, they moved to the second round. I had $5,000 on the frickin' Brooklyn Nets beating the Toronto Raptors in 4 in Vegas. I swear, if I get all these predictions right, I'm going to Vegas. I'm going to Vegas. After I say it in the podcast, I'm going to Vegas. That's if I get all these predictions right in the show. But hey, there's time to be a smart guy and a dumbass. And the bottom 6 of the Eastern Conference is just plain out terrible. Just terrible. But Boston and the Pacers are tied. So they play games on tomorrow. And both these teams, they need to win. Pacers obviously face off against the Pistons. Celtics against the Heat. These teams need to win because, it's just like the Rockets and the Portland Trailblazers. They're both tied for that spot in the NBA playoffs race, and they're fighting in between. They both need to just win out. Let the chips fall where they may. But it's going to be fun. So the games to watch in the MLB as we close out the show here. It's game 2 of the Phillies and Nats. Aaron Nola, who sounds like his name should be on the Pelicans jersey. And Anibal Sanchez making his first start for the Nats as well. Came over from the Atlanta Braves, so it's going to be a good matchup. Can Bryce Harper hit another home run and make those fans just hate him even more for going to the Phillies? Or maybe can the Nats give the Phillies their first loss of the season after starting out 4-0? Nola also did have a pretty good performance against the Braves in his first game. He had 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 run. One problem was the 5 walks in that game, but he did have 8 strikeouts to kind of overwrite that. So it's going to be a good game for that one. Phils and Nats going at it for game 2. Nola versus Sanchez. And time for the games to watch in the NBA. Obviously, the Portland Trailblazers needing to win in that one. They're facing an eliminated team in the Memphis Grizzlies, so they're trying to stay alive and get that 3rd seed. Another team who is in that fight for the 3rd seed is those 3rd-seeded Rockets, and they face a little bit of a harder team on the road in LA against the Clippers. So a tough final game or final few games in the season starts off with the Clippers for the Rockets. That one starts out late. That'll be on NBA TV. But, Rockets, if they lose, Portland has a pretty good chance at wrapping up on that 3rd seed. But they still have to face the Nuggets, who are also facing the Spurs, who definitely need a good playoff spots. So the Spurs and Nuggets, the Nuggets, if they lose this one, can definitely probably be a third seed in the coming days because they're only a game and a half up on the Portland Trailblazers and Houston Rockets. So, I mean, it's going to be a fun game to see. Those are your games to watch in the NBA, games to watch in the NHL. I mean, the Blackhawks, I thought they would be in the playoffs, but obviously the Colorado or Dallas Stars gained a point, and the Blackhawks were officially eliminated. So it's sad. It's sad. The Blackhawks are a pretty good team, but they are eliminated, and rightfully so. They didn't have that very good of a season. But I did also forget earlier in the show to talk about Acuna, who had an 8-year, $100 million deal. The millions of dollars are raining out to these young guys who are just going to make it rain at a strip club. I really hope they're smarter than that and they make it rain at a car dealership getting a Lambo or a Ferrari or, spending on some clothes or a Nipsey, funeral, whatever, mural. Yeah, mural. But it's all good in Acuna's world. 8 years, $100 million deal, a huge deal. Congrats on that one. And I will see y'all tomorrow, Thursday, April 4th, for the 4th and 11th show. I am Jacob Steiner. Have a nice night.